Hello, welcome to part 3 of The Worst Band in the Universe by Graeme. So far, Sprock has been playing music on a planet that does not like new music at all. So he ends up leaving the planet, goes to another place, joins the Worst Band in the Universe competition, which turns out to be a trap placed by the musical inquisitor to basically get rid of Sprock for trying to play all this new music. So Sprock and his new friends end up getting put on a new planet, which is called Waste Dump B19. The Silent Swamp is where we are. Where are we? I just said the Silent Swamp. Muttered Breeder as they struggled from the pod. Some kind of jungle, Sprock replied. It sure feels pretty odd. He gazed up at a foreign sky, a swirling starless dome. One thing's for sure, he sighed. We're a long, long way from home. They waited from the waste pod. Sprock looked nervously around. I'd swear the jungle's listening, just waiting for a sound. This place has got me spooked, said Stickman. How about a song? He tapped his sticks and hummed a tune. Come on, guys, sing along. At once, a dozen creepers slithered toward them from trees. They're searching for the sound, Sprock whispered. Everybody freeze. Oh, sorry. They stood as still as statues, while around them swayed the creepers. A terrifying real-life game of jungle finders keepers. Some unseen creature made a noise and injudicious squeal. The creepers pounced upon it, and the squeal became a meal. The band looked on in horror as the vines devoured their prey. Then with a shudder, they turned and tiptoed quietly away. Can't make a sound there. Or get eaten. And so to the vast junk piles of waste dump B19. They crept along in silence. Not a whisper, not a word. Poor Stickman didn't dare to think, in case the creepers heard. But finally the jungle thinned, they stepped into light, and found spread out before them an extraordinary sight. A vast metallic landscape met their disbelieving gaze, an interstellar junkyard disappearing in the haze. A figure sat there watching them. And what do we have here? Another bunch of frizzled grooves. Must be that time of year. 100 other aliens were perched amongst the junk. All kinds of musos, neutro, alloyed, hyper-rap, and funk. But one was clearly in command. He spoke from where he sat. This here is Waste Dump B19, and I, my friends, am Scat. It's Scat, cried Sprock. I can't believe it's really you. Oh, wow. Scat watched with mild amusement, then he gave a mocking bow. And you, no doubt, are winners of a certain talent quest. The worst band in the universe? Ah, yes, I should have guessed. Don't look surprised, you're not the first. This happens every year. The thrilling win, the cheering crowds, then you disappear. We've all been there before, my friend, from old hand to beginner. So welcome to the Worst Band Club, where everyone's a winner. So you can see Scat's way up there at the top. The band was stunned. Poor Stickman wept. Sprock, too, was close to tears. To think this foul deception has been going on for years. There must be some escape, he cried. Some spaceship we can use. The eldest one's in danger. There's no time for us to lose. Be cool, said Scat. So what? Who cares? It isn't our concern. Remember, you've been banished, Groob. No refund, no return. Sprock shook his head. You're kidding, right? There's got to be a way. The universe needs saving, Scat. You can't sit here all day. Hey, zip your lip. Scat snapped at Sprock. I'm head Groob on this rock. Then how about you show a little leadership, said Sprock. Scat's face betrayed a sudden rage. He raised his power axe. Sprock's fingers gripped his split twanger, the volume set to max. But suddenly a snake-like shadow fell across the screen. Look out, a gulper! Someone cried. Sprock saw a flash of green. Scat hammered on his power axe, a massive pulse of sound. Sprock heard a splat, and bits of creeper rained down on the ground. Scrat flicked his power axe to off and slung it by his side. The gulpers hear your every sound. There's nowhere you can hide. My power axe alone can keep the writhing horde at bay. That's why I'm boss. He glared at Sprock, then turned and strode away. When Scat has gone, a button pusher waddled from the crowd. Hi, he mumbled. Look, I wouldn't dare say this aloud. But, well, I have this theory, though of course I may be wrong. He handed Sprock a drawing. It's a ship that sails on song. A music-powered spacecraft? Breather frubled from her snouts. It's possible, I guess, she shrugged, and yet I have my doubts. Scat says that it'll never fly, the little guy confided. We'll try it, Sprock declared at once. The matter is decided. Six weeks later. The task was huge, the concept vague, the physics somewhat moot, but once the seed of hope was sown, it gradually took root. They labored with the flame of freedom burning in their hearts, a hammer, 7 drill bits, and an endless source of parts. And slowly from the rubble grew a glorious creation, a flimsy pile of rusted junk, the means of their salvation. You'll never make a fly, said Scat, and even if you do, those gulpers will devour the lot, and take you with it too. You're right, said Sprock, without your help, we'll never get away. But if this works, we'll send a rescue ship without delay. Scat turned on Sprock in anger. Who asked you to interfere? We don't want you to save us. Can't you see we're happy here? You're happy here? Where every note you play could be your last? When people live in fear of sound? Sprock looked at Scat aghast. I really thought you'd help us, Scat, for everybody's sake. I thought you were a leader, not a loser. My mistake. Scat stared at Sprock. His face went pale. The truth was all too stark. Then silently he turned away. Sprock's words had found their mark. They watched him go. This isn't good, said Stickman with a groan. At least you tried, said Breather. Looks like we're on our own. Liftoff day. At last the ship was finished. Sprock called everyone around. All right, said Sprock, I'll count you in, then you guys make some sound. They climbed aboard and set the sails to capture every note. A gallant bid for freedom in a tiny homemade boat. Let's mesh, cried Sprock. The music flowed, the sails began to fill. But from the jungle swarmed the gulpers, closing for the kill. We need more power, Breather yelled. The EQ's gonna blow. The treble's overloading and the bass is way too low. Transposing to a higher key, Sprock shouted from the bow. Let's try F sharp, he cried, and cast the line off from the prow. The spaceship swung slowly around and lifted from the ground. We're taking off! It really works! A ship that sails on sound! But even as he spoke, the gulpers reached out to the ship, enveloping the vessel in their vegetable-y grip. Poor button pusher tumbled from his perch atop the mast. The sonic sails flapped uselessly. The ship was sinking fast. Then came a sudden blast of sound. The gulpers writhed and squirmed. It's Scat, cried Sprock in wonderment. The sonic tide had turned. Scat hammered on his power axe. The gulpers split asunder, and Sprock and crew soared skyward on a rolling wave of thunder. Scat watched until the ship had gone a tiny speck with wings. Hey, Buttonhead, what say you make another of those things? But this time, make it really big with lights and lots of chrome. The universe needs saving, Groobs. It's time we headed home. So there you go. Sprock with his axe there. Axe is another name for guitar, too. So, in case you've ever heard somebody playing their axe or playing their guitar. So there they go. Off. And he's got the button pusher back with him to help him out. Alright, so next time we will do part 4. You can click in the links on the description to get to the different parts of this book, but we will finish it up in the next video. Thank you.